Welcome back to CP24 Live at noon. We are talking New Year's Eve. It's tomorrow night, and if you haven't made plans to go out yet, you might be staying in. And joining us now live is celebrity event planner David Vallee with tips on how to throw a perfect party of your own on New Year's Eve. You know, a lot of people love to stay inside now on New Year's Eve. You can make it a fantastic event with a small number of people or a huge number of people. And look at us here. We are all set.
Well, I'm
going to take this home today. But tell us about setting the stage for that perfect party.
Well, I think that the most important thing about a perfect party is that there is no such thing as a perfect party. What I find, especially with brides, but even with people entertaining at home, you get so keyed up about doing everything right. Don't worry. It's a party. If a few things go wrong, it's all a part of the fun.
Right. Now, one trick I've learned to help if it goes right or wrong is you welcome everybody with a festive cocktail as soon as they get in the door. And,
should we get into the cocktail?
And, of course, the art of opening up festive cocktails or bubbly champagne.
Okay, so
some people cower from it. Some people are very afraid. David, you seem very confident.
I've opened a few of these before.
Yeah. Tell us about corking technique, will you?
Well, the most important thing, you know, especially with alcohol involved, is safety first. And your napkin here is your very best friend. Because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to loosen the cage on the champagne bottle.
That's called the cage, okay.
Yeah.
I just saw it as that thing that gets in the way of the cork.
Put this over top.
So you've kept the cage on.
Live.
I know. Yeah. You kept the cage on
and then twist it slowly, like this.
Slow twist.
Hear the pop. Now don't lift the thing off, because that's when it goes spurting everywhere.
Oh.
That may look good, but that's wasted booze.
Okay, true, okay. So how long do you wait before you take the top off?
You'll feel the pressure lessen, and then you can take it off.
And I see it sort of seeping out of there. So that is safe corking technique. Yeah. I like it.
Let me move this.
I mean, we go to the back door sometimes.
Again, wasted booze. Wasted booze.
But we're just trying to save an eye, you know? So this is good.
So
okay.
That's a safety tip.
So now, a festive cocktail when you walk in the door.
This is a lovely but very inexpensive Australian sparkling.
Okay.
And one way to really rescue a less nice wine, let's just put it that way, is a little bit of a cocktail. Now, my favorite cognac is Remy Martin. They're also huge supporters of Canfire, where I do a lot of work. So we love these guys. A little bit of Remy, a little bit of Cointreau, or triple sec.
Okay.
The Cointreau, sort of the original.
That's the orange
That's orange,
flavor.
exactly.
And the Remy would be?
A cognac.
Right. You said that?
A little bit like that in.
Not a huge cognac drinker, but I like mixing.
But see, this gives it a little bit of depth. That makes it a little bit more of a cocktail. And again, the key to pouring champagne is by putting that in first, I'm sort of lessening the effervescence of the bubbles, but that again means the cocktail isn't going to go all over the place.
Now, you wouldn't necessarily be doing this with Cristal or Veuve Clicquot or anything like that, right?
No. But because these are fine spirits, if you wanted to, you absolutely could. Yeah. But I wouldn't waste like a Piper Heidsieck or a Laurent Perrin, any of the good stuff with this sort of thing.
So then you raise a glass.
Taste?
Well, nobody's looking right now, I'm sure.
Nobody? Okay, yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay. It smells delicious. Oh. That's great.
Thank you. And sea view, honestly, isn't bad on its own.
I could drink this in the morning.
But
a new mimosa.
Absolutely. And the thing is, like, if you do get a bottle of champagne that you know you're just not going to like, and I'm not going to name those brands because I don't want to degrade anyone, but this is a great way to fix it up. So
it's festive, it's fun, you walk in the door, or you can do this at the stroke of midnight as well.
Absolutely.
Now, what else? I mean, setting the scene, setting the ambience. We have the bubbly, we have this is, candles.
I don't know how this looks right now, but I brought some really inexpensive stuff here. These are dollar store crystal or glass candle holders. These are $1.25 mirror tiles from Canadian Tire or Home Depot. These are 40-cent votives from like IKEA or any of the craft stores. And literally, you put all this stuff together. You use lots of candles, and you use lots of it. And you can take sort of a drab table and just sort of bring it up. What I love about the mirrored tiles is, like, you can't tell in the studio because the lights are bright, but if the lights were lower here, that light would be shining back up on our faces, and everyone looks really good.
Yeah.
I use these for bars, for buffets, and for formal dinner tables as
There's something like lighting, nice mood lighting, a nice drink, and then a good sound.
Lighting is the key thing to a great
I like good
party.
lighting very much.
Bring those lights right down And whenever you don't think you have, when you think you have enough candles, you don't. Put out more.
More is
more when it comes to candles.
Okay. Now, when we come back on CB24 Live at noon, David is a multi-talented man. You are about to open your new restaurant, Hearth and Garden, just down the street at University and Queen.
At Campbell House Museum, yes.
Or Museum and Queen, okay.
Yes.
Somewhere in this neighborhood that we're all going to be haunting soon, I'm sure. So we'll learn more about your new restaurant, talk more about New Year's Eve, right straight away on CB24 Live at noon. Look at those candles, they're beautiful.
They do.
Oh, they're turning the lights down, too. Beautiful. Oh, what a beautiful festive shot. Look at the bubbly here. This is David's wonderful mix of champagne or sparkling with Remy and Cointreau, and it's delicious, so I'm told. Okay,
so you're told.
Sips in the break. So this is a multi-talented man. Not only do you know about setting the scene for a wonderful gathering on New Year's, but you have your own television show that's going into season 6, Rich Bride, Poor Bride.
Well, I'm one of the people on Rich Bride, Poor Bride.
Okay, and then that's on Slice. And a new restaurant. Tell us all about Hearth and Garden.
Well, I was really excited. Last year I joined forces with Campbell House Museum to start creating events there. And we've been there for a year. We've done some beautiful weddings, lots of corporate functions, some charity fundraisers. It's one of the oldest houses in downtown Toronto. It was built in 1822 and moved by the Advocate Society to its current location just down the street at Queen and University. And at the end of January, we're going to be opening up to the public for lunches. Our concept's called Hearth and Garden because there are all these wonderful hearths, fireplaces in Campbell House, where we actually do some of the cooking live in the historic fireplaces. And then in the summertime, we're going to open it up to a garden concept because it's almost an acre of beautiful gardens right in the downtown.
Really nicely situated.
Yeah.
And any specifics when it comes to the menu? Anything that you're going to be trying that's different or?
Very much so, very much so. I work very closely with my chef, Margaret McKay, who was with Jamie Kennedy for years. And Margaret and I both believe in food that has a lot of integrity to it, whether it's the ecology of the food, making it local, organic, where we can get it organic, but also embracing a little bit of our environs in terms of lots of different nods to historic Ontario food because we're in an historic museum. For the holiday season, we served my great-great-grandmother's United Empire Loyalist Christmas pudding recipe. We served my great-grandmother's Perth County Scottish shortbread recipe. And it's really wonderful to bring family heritage and Ontario food into the fore, but giving it a very modern and contemporary spin.
Do you feel people are still yearning for that, whether it's catering or just dining in general? We all are going back to sort of those roots, those earthen roots.
Well, and I think that as we've discovered, food has to become more local. You know, we love lychees, but what's the environmental cost of bringing food all the way from Asia, you know? And so, I mean, I think we can afford to do a little bit of that so we don't turn it back into, you know, sort of carrots and cabbage of the 19th century. But I think what we're realizing is we do have to use more carrots. We do have to use more cabbage because these are the foods that grow here. These are the foods that grow here without manipulation. These are the foods that grow here with integrity and with plenty. And the more we can create new cuisine out of local ingredients, the better off we're all going to be. Okay,
and back to quick New Year's, any memorable moments from New Year's past?
Well, a few years ago, I had cancer, actually, and I had a bad spell with chemo just before the Christmas holidays, and we'd planned this party, and it was days and days of wondering whether or not my partner and I were going to be able to do it. I got a great spurt of health just before New Year's. We had 40 people into our loft just over on Adelaide Street, and we had the most wonderful time. Friends came from Denmark, friends came from the Bahamas, and to be able to stay standing for that New Year's Eve was a real goal.
Well, here's to your continued health and success and the very best in 2011 to you.
Thanks so much, Stephanie.
Thank you so much.
Take good care.
And you too. Welcome back to CB24 Live at Noon. Weddings, all kinds of weddings with the new year, new romance, new adventures, and new ways to have weddings. David, you're an expert in weddings as well with your TV show. Tell us what's ahead with the show this year.
Well, I'm really excited. We went to the Bahamas for the first time in Rich Bride, Poor Bride history. And the Bahamas is like a second home to me. And the season premiere this year, our 6th season, is a wonderful wedding with a couple named Liz and Phil in the Bahamas. It's really a really fun, special, really exciting episode.
And some of the hijinks that go with the destination wedding?
You know what? And I'm a bit new to that. You know, I had to do a little bit of research and rely on some of my staff to get me up to speed. It's a very challenging environment to produce a beautiful wedding in, but I think we pulled it off.
Oh, good. Can't wait to see that. Now, you're going to have to compare it to what's ahead with weddings in 2011.
Well, there's only 2 words when it comes to weddings in 2011, which is Catherine and William. I mean, I think everyone before April is going to be trying to guess what they're going to do. And the moment that dress and those flowers and everything else hits the ground on the 29th, I believe it is, I'm going to be trying to replicate what they saw at
Westminster. You will, huh? You'll be doing it.
And people have to remember, though, Westminster Abbey doesn't come cheap. And for people to try to take a royal wedding and move it into the context of doing something on a more modest budget, shall we say, is going to be a real challenge.
And do you think that's going to be the theme for this wedding, being modest?
I think it has to be.
It has to.
I mean, you look at what's happening in Britain with the tuition hikes and all that kind of stuff.
Not in the mood for grandiose expenditures.
Well, but then at the same time, people need a royal wedding to bring things up. So it's going to be a real challenge to be both grand and look modest at the same time.
Well, we'll be watching you and watching all the weddings in 2011. Thanks again for coming in today.
Thank you so much, Stephanie.
Spreading your season joy, and cheers again to you.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you.
Thanks so much.